Hi, my name is Vanessa van Dijk, and in today's video I'm going to answer the question if you can use your glycolic acid and retinol together. Now, from my experience, it works the best if you're going to keep them separate. So in that sense, you would use both in the evening, as this is overall recommended, but you would use them on different days. And then still you have to consider your skin tolerance, the strength of treatment that you're using, and the overall formulation, because some treatments contain more buffering ingredients than others, and therefore you can then use it more often. So it does not automatically mean that you can use them equally often throughout the same week. I mean, this may work for some of you. However, of course, again, based on the points I've just emphasized, formulation tolerance and the entire strength, you need to adjust this even further. Otherwise, you can come across signs of irritation, such as a stinging, burning, redness, or even experiencing pimples all of a sudden. This is what often happens to me when I'm using an exfoliant too often, which are basically the signs that it's too aggressive for your skin, based on how often you would use it or the product itself. So therefore, I have prepared for you 2 example skincare routines that I want to cover step by step with some example products, so that you have an overall idea of in what direction you can go for. So you can see right here the first example skincare routine working with your glycolic acid exfoliant, and as you can see, we are in the PowerPoint. And as always, if you find it helpful, you want to use it as a guide when trying this at home, you can download the entire PowerPoint in the description box down below. Now we are starting off with glycolic acid, so you can see the example routine right here. On the top corner we have the time of use, the frequency, then we have the benefits of glycolic acid, the example routine that I came up with, just want to keep the focus towards glycolic acid and later on retinol, and below that you have the overall general guide of how you would then use them. So when it comes to the frequency that you can see right here on the top, so Monday, Wednesday, and or Friday, this refers to the frequency based on how often you could use glycolic acid, and then on the other days you would use your retinol. But still, again, you can see I've picked 3 examples of glycolic acid. Not only do they change in the percentage, but the overall formulation as well. So let's break it down. First of all, you're starting off with your cleansing step in the evening, so that you then can apply the following products to clean skin. So make sure that you're working with non-exfoliating acid cleansers. This is extremely important because you're already using an exfoliant, and on other days your retinol. So just work with a gentle, regular cleanser that's suitable for your skin type, or even use an oil or balm cleanser in the evening in case you are trying to remove your stubborn sunscreen and or makeup. So nonetheless, wash your face properly. Then you have the next step in between, which would refer to take a clean towel, gently pat all over, and then if everything goes well for you, you can immediately move on to your glycolic acid exfoliant. However, in case you should have a bit more of a sensitive skin, you can always wait those 5 to 10 minutes in between, wait for your skin to dry, and then move on to your exfoliant so that it penetrates slower into the skin, so that your skin can basically work much better with it. So when it comes to the exfoliant, you can see the examples right here. Of course, you may have one of them or completely different one, and therefore I cannot give you a straightforward step-by-step guide, because I do not know your skin tolerance. I do not know what exfoliant you have at home. I'm going to go with examples so that you have an understanding of how you could adjust it. So we have Beauty of Joseon right here, which contains 3% of glycolic acid. We have Paula's Choice right here with 5%, and The Ordinary when it comes to the 7%. So out of all 3 of them, for me personally, The Ordinary 7% toning solution is the most potent one, and then I would argue with Beauty of Joseon's one, and then lastly Paula's Choice. Now, why is that? Even though the one from Beauty of Joseon has a lower percentage than Paula's Choice, the overall formulation matters. So whenever I'm applying them to the skin, Paula's Choice is then an exfoliant that I can theoretically use more often because it contains more buffering ingredients. So not only does it penetrate much slower into the skin, but it contains more ingredients that are less harsh on the skin. So this does play a big role based on how often you can use it throughout the week. So in that case, you could, for example, use Beauty of Joseon glycolic acid toner as well as The Ordinary one, maybe once or twice per week max. And then if you should have a much gentler formulation, such as the one from Paula's Choice, you could actually use it 3 times per week, so Monday, Wednesday, and or Friday. So again, there's no other way around other than testing it. But the slower you're going to start off in the beginning, the more you will figure out what frequency works the best for you. So if you aren't sure if you're dealing with a high percentage or potent formulation, well, start off by using it once per week. And then if that went well, you may want to use it then twice per week. And then lastly, if everything goes well, you can always work with it 3 times per week, because then on the other days, again, you would use your retinol. So this is how you can adjust it to make sure that you're not going to overwhelm the skin, because if you're going to use it too often, too soon, and you're being completely new to it, you can come across stinging, burning redness, and even pimples, which often occur to me when I'm using it too much. And then again, you would apply your exfoliant to the skin, and in this case, we're working with leave-on exfoliating acid products, so you're going to leave it on the skin, there's no need to wash it off. Now in the evening, you just could stop right there. However, of course, depending on your skin type, if you come across dryness, you can then wait about 30 seconds to a minute in between and then follow on with your moisturizer. And then there you go when it comes to the evening skincare routine when working with your glycolic acid exfoliant. And so as already mentioned, then on the other days when not using the exfoliant, you can go ahead and theoretically work with your retinol. But still, when it comes to your retinol, you have to consider again the formulation, the strength, your skin tolerance. So similar to glycolic acid, but the days are going to change. So in this case, you would then use your retinol in the evening on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and or Sunday. So you can see, as I mentioned, and or usually the retinol could theoretically be used more often than your glycolic acid exfoliant based on who's going to create more sensitivity. Therefore, I went with the retinol more often throughout the week, but still again, keep those points in mind. So again, you're starting off with your cleansing step. Still, you're working with a non-exfoliating acid cleanser because we're working with retinol. You do not want to increase the risk of experiencing irritation. You can, after the cleansing step, after you have pat the skin dry, immediately move on to your retinol, or again, just wait those 5 to 10 minutes in between, see what works the best for you, and then based on that, keep on going with that specific guide. And then you're going to apply your retinol to the skin. Now you can see I've picked 3 examples right here. So we have the ordinary one, which is available in different strength. We have CeraVe, where it does not mention the percentage. So my assumption would be that it's pretty low, like in the 0.2, 0.3, or maybe lower than that range. And then we have Paula's Choice, which again has the 0.3 or even 1% retinol treatment. Now overall, you can say that, for example, the ordinary or CeraVe, those formulations in the lower percentage range are quite gentle on the skin. There you could theoretically go with that specific frequency as I've mentioned above. But when it comes to Paula's Choice retinol treatments, overall their formulations are quite potent. So the 0.3% can theoretically be used that often, but you may already come across signs of irritation. Therefore, you may want to reduce it and adjust it. But especially when it comes to the 1% retinol treatments in general, those are quite potent. So there you do not want to use it 4 times per week. You may just want to start off by using it once or twice per week and then see how it goes, and then slowly adjust the frequency the more your skin gets used to it. And so I do have everything below as well when it comes to the retinol frequency. So you can see with the little sign next to it, a little dot right here, this applies to the low percentages, whereas the other sign next to it where you can mention that you should use the higher strength of retinol only 1 to 2 times per week, especially if you're being new to them. Over time the frequency can change, but in the beginning I really recommend keeping an eye on how your skin is going to tolerate it. And then again, the overall formulation, the gentler the formulation is, the more often you could use it, the more potent it is, the less often you're going to use it, otherwise it's going to be too strong. So apply it to the skin, leave it on the skin, there's no need to wash it off. And then again, depending on the formulation that you have, with the examples that I have right here, you could theoretically just use them on their own. I mean, the retinol in Squalane is already hydrating enough. CeraVe's retinol and Paula's Choice retinol, they have a very lotion-like feeling where it may already be hydrating enough because it's kind of like a light moisturizer. However, in case you have dry skin, in case you experience dryness, you can of course go ahead and add a moisturizer afterwards if you should feel the need. Just make sure that you then are going to wait about 2 to 3 minutes in between. So basically wait for your retinol to fully absorb into the skin before heading into the moisturizing step, so that it layers well. Otherwise it may feel too greasy on the skin, heavy, you know, like the uncomfortable feeling. You want to make sure that you're going to give it a moment in between before heading into the next step. And so then those would be like the days where you could theoretically use your retinol, but still again, make sure to adjust it accordingly. The slower you're going to start, the sooner you will figure out what frequency will work best for you. Because if you're going to, in the beginning, immediately overdo it, like use your exfoliant too often, use your retinol too often, you're going to regret it. Because once you experience irritation, then this is the time where you need to take like a complete break of everything, and then you can restart again. So therefore, take your time, be patient, listen to your skin, and then you will figure out what's going to work the best for you. Now you may now wonder, well, what are you going to do on the days when not using your glycolic acid exfoliant or retinol? Well, this is where I have an example routine for you as well, and this is just simple. I mean, do not overdo it when it comes to skincare products in general. When not using any of those treatments, just work with your cleanser to properly wash your face and then follow with a moisturizer afterwards if you should feel the need. In my case, I often do not like to work with a moisturizer because I feel like, well, the cleansing step is enough. So it's completely fine to give your skin a break in between whenever you're not working with those treatments. Or if you feel like your skin feels a bit overwhelmed with those treatments after 1 or 2 weeks, well, go ahead, give your skin a break. That's completely fine. Don't hesitate. You still will get the benefits of it if you're going to give your skin a break from time to time, as if you would continue using it for that long and then later on you end up with irritation. So those are all the points and little tips that I can share with you and include when working with such much stronger treatments in general. Then when it comes to the morning skincare routine, I do want to emphasize this as well so that you understand what the setup would look like. I just want to go with a recommended skincare routine, basically just including the essential steps. And then this would be your cleansing step in the morning. This can be with your favorite cleanser, as well as protecting the skin with a sunscreen throughout the day, because you're working already with an exfoliant and retinol, which can make the skin sensitive to the sun. And not only that, you do want to protect your skin from the damaging UV rays as well. And then again, below you have the overall general guide of how you can then use those products. If you have your usual morning skincare routine, it's completely fine to add those steps in between, but you will notice now with those examples what's essential to include. And when looking now basically into my PowerPoint, you are now below the example routines. Below the example routines, you will find more information on retinol and retinoid. So how does retinol work? So you can see how it speeds up the cell turnover to renew the skin basically. If you can use your retinol or retinoid during pregnancy, generally speaking, it's not recommended, but always talk to your doctor for the best advice. And then if you need to use a sunscreen when using your retinol, yes, but not in the evening. So in the evening, there's no sunscreen needed, just use it throughout the day. And then below that, you will find more general skincare tips when it comes to skincare in general, so that you have an overview of how you can work with your skincare products to have the best application possible. And even below that, you will find a sunscreen guide with more information on this, not only the application itself. And then lastly, you will find more about the skincare product descriptions, basically seeing all the products that I have emphasized in my example routines in case you're interested in one of them, so that you know what they are supposed to do and for whom they are suitable. And so this is basically what I wanted to share with you when getting into this specific PowerPoint, when looking into the frequency, the example products, so that you have an overall guide in mind on how you can work with those treatments. Now I do hope that you enjoyed this video, that you find it helpful. If you did so, please don't forget to give the thumbs up as well as share it. And if you want to support my channel, as I'm an independent YouTuber, feel free to leave a tip by clicking on the super thanks button below this video, or check out the description box. There you will find a PayPal link. Now thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Happy skincaring. Bye.